pandemic forced us to play it safe by staying at home for the past year and a half. To celebrate the fact that we can now return to cinemas, San Diego Asian Film Festival is all about taking risks with its programming. Take Terminal USA.
Hands up, who wants to die?
Wow, it's really something. Like it's the kind of movie you would watch on a dare.
Artistic director Brian Hu is daring audiences to take a chance on this restored print of John Mortsugo's 1993 film.
What it does is it shows that there's a certain kind of stereotype of Asian Americans being this model minority, or at least of being kind of like non-offensive. And he really wants to show how, one, that it's possible that they're not, but then it's also possible that under the surface, even of very normal-looking Asian American families, you don't want to look under the hood. And so there's something so gratifying about that.
In the documentary Inside the Red Brick Wall, it's the filmmakers who are not playing it safe as they document 2019 protests in Hong Kong.
The filmmakers are amongst the protesters while this is all happening. No one knows it's going to happen. People are talking about we may not see each other again because this may be like Tiananmen Square in Hong Kong. But also getting a sense of the courage of these filmmakers to persist because they see these protesters are too, so they need to be there to document it all. This is historic.
Then, Wheel of Fortune and Fantasy takes risks in its narrative structure with a trio of stories about chance.
It's such a joy to see a director know how to squeeze every ounce of drama from unexpected directions. Not in any like melodramatic or scandalous way, but in a way that really cuts to the moral stakes or the possibilities of tension on screen.
Master filmmaking is also on display in the newly restored 70s melodrama Execution in Autumn from Lee Sing.
And he passed away in August. Now we really must show this movie. In part because I think Taiwan cinema is associated with sort of these art films from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But let's talk about what happened before. And this is also kind of a juicy drama of ethics and family that really stretches our definitions of family.
Beyond the infinite 2 minutes stretches a single take into a quirky film about a guy who discovers a 2-minute delay between a security camera and what he sees on his computer. And this leads to some time travel shenanigans.
But there's something about the single take in a single location now, especially since we've been at home all this time, that I think has a special meaning. I just love seeing people who make so much out of so little.
Making a lot out of a little is also at the heart of Lumpia, a film that director Patricio Ginelsa says was inspired by El Mariachi.
If that movie was about a Mexican hero that used a guitar as a weapon, what would be the Filipino version? The best thing we could think of was like, oh, what about a Filipino guy who wears a barong Tagalog and just throws lumpia? That's what my brother said. And he was just joking around. And I go, wait a minute. There's something there visually.
Ginelsa shot the film on an 8mm camcorder starting in the 1990s, says Hu.
And it became something of a cult hit amongst Filipino Americans because it spoke directly to their cultural uniqueness, but from the perspective of not necessarily like historical trauma, but from let's have fun with this. Let's go in the theater and celebrate each other through a superhero movie.
It's Lumpia, the Filipino egg roll. The motives of the Lumpia man are still unknown.
Now there's a crowdfunded sequel called Lumpia with a Vengeance. Both will screen at the festival, and Ginelsa has this disclaimer about the movies.
We didn't waste any real lumpia on set. We made sure that any real cooked lumpia was eaten properly, but anytime that it was thrown, it was actually a fake prop that I got through eBay.
So check out the buffet of films being served up by San Diego Asian Film Festival and enjoy some cinematic treats. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.